Hey everyone, Tech Steve here, and today we're going to take a closer look at the Samsung Q60C, which is new for 2023. But stick around because later on in this video, I'm going to show you guys a comparison against last year's model, which is the Q60B. Now in this video, we're going to do some picture tests, show you the remote control, and all that good stuff. But the first thing we need to do is get it out of the box. Now one of the things about the feet is that you can have it low to your table, or you can flip this little switch upwards and raise it up higher just in case you want a sound bar right below the TV. And don't forget about the screen protector. First of all, let's face it, we're all consumers and we all want to get the best product for the best deal. But here's the thing, Samsung has a full lineup. This is where they start for the QLED, which has the quantum dots, the dual backlights, and it starts off with the 4K processor that's a little bit better than a Crystal UHD processor. So in this video, I'm going to be using a 55-inch and it costs $799 US, and you can get it from a 43-inch all the way up to an 85-inch. Now I was taking a look at the design of both TVs. They look identical except for two major things. The first thing is on the back of it, they have the grooves to signify the new 2023 series. And the second thing is they changed the remote design. So this is the Q60C, this is a Q60B. You can see that they made it a little bit smaller, but they basically have the same functionality. So on the back of this TV, we have two USBs. You also have a LAN connection for hooking it directly up to the router. There's two HDMIs right here, and one of them's eARC for a soundbar, and then you have an ATSC tuner. There's also a third HDMI and a fiber optic for going over to an audio system. So the inputs, everything exactly the same, but I wish at this point they would have added the new next-gen tuner so you can pick up the new content when it's available over the air. Now there's a few things you need to do. First of all, when you get any Samsung TV, is you want to go into settings, general and privacy, power and energy savings. Usually it's checked off with brightness optimization. You want to go and turn that off. And this will turn off the TV trying to automatically adjust the brightness, energy saving solution. As you notice, as I turn that off and on, it gets brighter. So this is going to be great to help out your HDR. Another thing I want to point out, at the very bottom of the screen, this is where you can find out the battery life of your remote control since it doesn't have an indicator on it. So I know picture quality is definitely important to you guys, so I did a little bit more real live test on this video, and I pulled up YouTube TV, just show you guys a little bit of sporting events, but keep in mind that I gotta be careful because of copyrights. And after I filmed all the footage, comparing it against the Q60B, they toned down that blue level that made the content look almost unrealistic, so it looks more like a movie mode. Since this is an edge-lit television, I want to check out the black levels, playing some content versus using the demos I usually use. And here's the thing, it looks really good when I have my camera at a low ISO, but as I crank it up, I started seeing the backlights, and that's not something you're going to normally see, but just let you know that it is there. But if you're someone who likes a lot of movie, I pulled up some Disney Plus, and I can tell you that it actually has some really good colors. It popped, very detailed. Only thing is that it doesn't have a high nits rating, which is the brightness of the TV. But for the average person who doesn't know any difference, I think you will be satisfied. In my opinion, I would also go ahead and turn off the picture clarity settings. And here's some of the presets that you can do. But after switching to everything, I still like standard the best, but a lot of people do like the movie mode. Now when it comes to glare, this TV doesn't have like that really ultra anti-glare coating on it, so you will pick up glare. So if you do have a lamp in the room or something like that, you're definitely going to be able to notice it. So if you have a lot of windows in your room, you definitely want to be conscious of that. So you might want to spend more money and get one that has the anti-glare coating. Now the next thing we're going to talk about is the audio system. It has 10 watts by 2. It has features like it supports Dolby Atmos pass-through, has Dolby Digital, and it has a feature called Object Tracking Light, which moves the sound around the screen. So that's great for people who want to use TV speakers. Now I had a chance to test it out, and to me the sound is okay, but I'm gonna let you hear a demo and put headphones in if you want to get the best sound quality.
He's got to be kidding.
And there's also plenty of features inside of the expert mode under the sound settings. So you can go in here and toggle all the different features that works for your particular setup. And to get even better sound, I would add a Samsung soundbar and use the Q Symphony feature that's built into this television. All right, so I just want to pull up a game for you guys, and It's really not that loud on the gaming console. Right now I have the volume at 76 and I can barely hear it, but let's go ahead and turn this down and look at some other options. If you press and hold down the play pause button on the remote control, you get this new pop-up. Now with this pop-up, you can go in here and you can put the console in different settings depending on what type of game you're playing, which is very convenient. Then we have another feature, Gaming Motion Plus. And with this, we can work on smoothing things out, but you can see you lost some contrast doing that. And then we go to level 2. So I think level 2 is going to be really good if you want to eliminate that smearing that you might get from some of the gaming consoles. Another thing you can do is called gaming mode settings. When you click on that, it goes into the full menu. And inside of here, you can turn on the virtual aiming. There's the Gaming Motion Plus settings. And when you turn this on, you can control the judder as well as clear motion, but I will tell you that clear motion will make the game a lot more darker and you lose all the contrast, so I generally leave that off. And there's gaming HDR. You have your basic, so it makes everything look a lot warmer, and then you have your advanced, which is going to actually give you the best colors, so we'll leave all that on for now. Another feature you have here is that virtual aiming point, so when you press on that, you basically get this pointer in the center of the screen. And then you have, of course, your sound and a help guide. The last thing I want to mention is down here at the bottom, you can see the input lag. You also can see the resolution, frames per second. See, we're at 60 frames, HDR, and like I told you guys a minute ago, this TV doesn't support VRR. Another thing to point out, if you turn on the HDR gaming, it disables your picture mode, so you have no control over that anymore. So just keep that in mind if you decide to use that HDR gaming. If you own an Xbox or Xbox Series X, you can override the HDMI signal just by going into the display and overriding it. The option you will get is 1440p, so it will support it that way. And there's an option to play it at 60 Hz. But if you go in here and try to switch over to 120 Hz, you'll get this pop-up that says that this mode is not supported. Another thing I want to try is go to 1080p instead of 1440p just to see if we can get a 120 Hz out of that setting. And again, we have the 60 Hz option. We're going to go to 120, see if we can check it off and see what happens. Again, it does not support it, but if you had the older, like a Q60T, it would support it. So they did make some changes with the software. So I'm going to show you guys the input lag, and this is how long it takes for the HDMI to run the signal. About 9.3 milliseconds. If we go down to the gaming mode setting, and we go over to where it says Gaming Motion Plus and turn that on, watch what happens to the input lag. So if you actually want to get that smoother picture, you're going to make the TV run a lot slower because of the correction that it does on the picture. Now it's time for me to show you guys the differences between the picture quality of the Q60C and the Q60B. Now keep in mind, I have two different size TVs because that's what I have available, so it may not be considered fair to you guys, but at least give you an idea of how each of these TVs perform far as color-wise. So let's jump into it. Now when it comes to the uniformity in both TVs, they're very similar, but overall, I will say that the Q60B slightly edges out the Q60C, but both of them do have some vignetting in the corners. Now looking at the colors on both TVs, they're very similar, but in this case, I really think that the Q60C looks much better. And looking at dark scenes on this TV, what really stands out to me is that the contrast is more blacker than what you see on the Q60B. And that can be very important for any type of content to get you those inky black levels. Another thing I want to show you guys on this video is HDR content, and both TVs have pretty adequate bright level, even though they have around 400 nits or so. But the biggest thing that stands out to me is the colors again on the Q60C. It seems like Samsung did pay a lot of attention to make sure that the newer Q60C is going to give you the best quality when it comes to the colors and how the brightness perform, even though this is a entry-level television. Now, the next thing I want to do is to show you guys some gaming, and playing both TVs, they look very similar overall. But I couldn't help but notice playing The Crew is that the car looks almost the same color, but if you look at the grass and the details on the side, you can see that the Q60C is more colorful. If you look at the colors of the asphalt, it looks more realistic. But the biggest thing overall is that you're going to get the same type of gaming experience when it comes to the motion and the frame rates and all that good stuff. But the colors is really the big thing that stands out to me. And in the comments below, tell me what you guys think. to let me know if you're seeing the same thing that I see. All right, so here's my final decision for me. If I was looking at these two TVs in the store, you can get the Q60B, which is, last year model, and it's a great television. But after I seen the results that I seen on this video when I was putting it all together, I would definitely go with the 2023 Q60C. And here's why. The HDR seemed to be a lot brighter for me. The colors are definitely a big improvement. So Samsung did go in there and tweak out a few things. You're gonna have the newest and greatest software, and you're gonna have a smaller remote control. I know, I wish they was bigger, but that's not something we can have a choice in. So that's my choice, the Q60C out of these two TVs if you decide to upgrade or if you're looking to buy something as a new user. The last thing I'll leave you guys with is I have a goal of 200,000 subscribers by the end of 2023. Everyone who's been subscribing and supporting the channel. So if you guys can go and subscribe to the channel, it'd be greatly appreciated if I gave you some valuable information on this video. I'm Tech Steve. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.